Okay, so today we're going to discuss, okay, on the critical cultural theory. I've already shared the video, okay, but many of you have not watched it, okay. I know it's boring, but you have to watch it, okay. You don't have to finish it in one go, okay, but you can, watch a bit every day, okay, because we're only going to have like a proper online class such as this only once a week. Okay, and because of that, I cannot be very detailed. I'm only going to summarize and discuss. Okay, so I hope you can watch the video, and I think Gamon has been nice enough to share the notes, and the notes I think has captured the content. Okay, so there's two parts of the video. So today we're going to cover the first part, which means we're only going to be discussing about critical theory. All right. Okay. Okay, like I always say, if you can switch on your camera, switch it on so I know I'm talking to someone. If not, I will only be talking to Ariani and Razofro. Razofro is Dia, right? Okay, thank you, Gamon. Okay, all right, Shamim, you're looking so pretty there. Okay, all right, so thank you, everyone. Right, so now I think we go straight to the slides. Okay, if you are not sure, you can ask anytime. Okay, we can discuss. Okay. So you can see the slide now? Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good.
Yes,
all right.
madam.
Okay, so the critical and cultural trend. Okay, so this is like one big category, okay, of theory. Always remember the 4 categories of theory. Because like we've already discussed previously, even if you have forgotten, okay, there are thousands of theories, okay, in social science. So we cannot cover all of them. So how to know which theory is appropriate, okay? So you must know the origin, okay, so the origin or the background, because most of these theories will come from these 4 categories. Okay, what are these 4 categories of theory? Who can remember? Okay, I show you, right, the 4 axes, all right? You've got normative theory, post-positivist theory, critical and cultural theory, right? So if you understand these 4 categories, then you should be clear, you should be able to understand, okay, all the different types of the smaller theories, okay? So basically, right, we've already talked about normative theory. Okay, I'm sure most of you have probably forgotten. Okay, so normative theory is the simplest category because it talks about the ideal way of managing the media. And it's really a grand theory. Why do we say it's grand theory? Because it talks about big relationship. Okay, it talks about how media and communication relates to countries, societies, okay? You get what I'm saying, right? Normative theory. Okay, so we've already gone through that in general. Okay, now we're going to talk about critical and cultural theory. Okay, so this is one big category also. Okay, so critical theory is one big category, cultural theory is one big category. But why do we combine them? Because they have the same origin. They got the same parents, same DNA. Okay? So critical and cultural theory, okay, also provides a big umbrella, okay, explanation to the relationship between media and communication. But under critical theory, under cultural theory, you have so many other smaller theories. Okay? So that's why we say it's a particular category. It's an umbrella theory. Okay? All right. So previously, okay, we've talked about, okay, theories are basically very coordinated and structured way to explain a particular relationship, okay, or a particular phenomenon. Okay. So today we're going to see how critical cultural explains, okay, the relationship with regard to society, with media and communication. Okay, so these are the learning objectives. Okay, I'm not going to go through them one by one. Okay, you check on this when you have finished studying the whole chapter. Okay, When you finish studying the chapters, you see, can I understand all of these objectives? Okay, if you can understand, okay, if you can make sense of all of these, that means you've already understood what we covered in the chapter. Okay, so straight up we talk about critical theory. Okay, the term also critical. That means always commenting, always questioning. Okay, initially when we talk about theories, okay, in social science, we say to be scientific, theories, methods have to be objective. Okay, that means there's no values. Okay, it has to be fair, cannot be biased. But this theory, critical theory, okay, starts off being biased. Okay, because they consist of theories that openly espouse certain values. That means when you adopt critical theory, okay, to study any relationship or phenomenon, okay, you are already biased to a particular value. Okay, you've already have a pre-assumption about that relationship. Okay, but when we talk about critical theory, there are, okay, these values or biasness is specific to evaluating and criticizing the status quo. Okay, so what is the status quo? Okay, I think we've already gone through this in general. Okay, the status quo is the accepted, okay, what we call it, balance in society. Okay, or those in power. Okay, usually it relates to the elite power. What is elite power? It relates to social class, the upper class, okay, the rich people, the decision makers, sometimes the government, people who have power to decide. Okay, so critical theory, okay, they want to criticize, okay, status quo. Why? Because they believe, okay, especially with regard to media, okay, and communication processes, they believe the status quo or the elites or whoever has the power, they will use the media to protect themselves, okay, or to maintain the status quo. Is this clear? Can you understand what we mean by status quo? All right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay? So status quo here, okay, like I said, it does not necessarily mean between governments or between the Westerners and the Muslims, the Americans and the rest of the world. Status quo can exist in any situation. Okay? Why? Because the power relation is everywhere. For example, in Malaysia, we can say Islam is the status quo. Okay? The Malays are the status quo. Or when we talk about in UIA, then you've got the Malaysians as the status quo. Can you understand what we mean by status quo? Okay, those who have more power. Okay, so because status quo relates to politics, and politics, okay, is not just governmental, again, it's about power relation. Because you know, right, for example, there are things like office politics, you know, family politics, there's politics everywhere. Okay, so critical theory is this, okay, that when they want to study media, because we're focusing on media and communication, I'm not going to say media and communication all the time. When I say media, it means communication also, okay, all right, because, okay, they believe, okay, media is one of the most significant method, okay, or aspect that is being used to maintain any form of status quo. Okay, so critical theory, okay, is specific to social science, okay, human science, our area. So what are the strengths of critical theory? It is politically based and action oriented. That means when we take this theory, okay, when we do a study, when you do a research, you start the research with wanting to make change. Okay, and this is different from positivist theories, and this we will discuss in the coming chapter. Okay, positivist theories are scientific and empirical, they are objective. They only will talk about things that they study on. But when we talk about critical theory, okay, they want to make change. Okay, so they use this theory to make change in the real world. So it's not just talking about those relationships, they want to change this relationship. So they ask big important questions like media control and ownership. Okay, but what are the weaknesses? Okay, the weaknesses is that this theory can be too political. That means it's talking about big things, right? Big relationship, okay, power, status quo, people trying to control. Okay, but sometimes when things are too political, it can be quite subjective. Okay, and it typically lacks scientific verification. Okay, based on what they do is they usually base their assumptions on subjective observation. What does this mean? Remember in the first topic we say that we want to be scientific, okay, social science. And to be scientific, okay, whatever assumptions that we make, we must prove with a particular method. Okay, but it is hard to prove all the assumptions made by critical theory. Okay, for example, what? We say American power. Okay, American power, Americans are controlling the media. Yes, we can see that. Okay, we can see that through all the programs that you watch on Netflix or all the songs that you listen to. But again, these are all based on observation. Is there a specific empirical evidence? It's hard to measure. For example, if you say Netflix, okay, is negatively influencing the Muslims or making the Muslims more American, okay, you need to prove if it's post-positivist. Okay, you need to prove. That means you have to study, you have to ask the Muslims, you have to look at, provide what we call it, hard evidence. But that would be hard, right? You cannot be asking all Muslims. Okay, so this is the problem with critical theory. Later on, you will see, okay, when we discuss the strengths and weaknesses of all the theories that's under critical and cultural, okay, the weaknesses will always be the strength of positivist theory. Okay, what is positivist theory? Okay, we will discuss later on, but I've already given you an introduction before. Okay, positivist theories are scientific, empirical, but they are not political. Okay, so they're quite the opposite. Okay, can follow so far? All right. But to better understand, okay, to differentiate, okay, between critical theory and cultural theory, okay, we must see how these theories look at the communication process. Okay, what do we mean by this? Okay, remember we say critical theory, okay, they espouse a certain value. That means they want to make change. Okay, so they see media as giving really bad influence. And they believe that this influence is transmitted. It means that they understand communication as straightforward. Okay, they view mass communication as merely the process of transmitting messages for the purpose of control. Okay, so what is this? It's like your typical communication, what do you call it? You know that diagram, right? From sender to receiver. Okay, it's very straightforward. Okay, it's like transmit. Whatever I say, you will get it, and then you will accept. So it's a very simple kind of explanation. Okay, but it makes the assumption as if communication is very straightforward. If I say A, then Gamon would think A. Aryani will take A. But actually, it's not that simple, isn't it? Right? Okay, for example, your mother asks you to pray. If communication process is simple, your mother asks you to pray, you pray. But do you pray? Not necessarily. You pray Gamon, very good. Okay? Not necessarily you will pray. Why? Because at that time, probably you're watching television. Okay? At that time, you have already some kind of internal conflict because you're a teenager, cannot listen to your mother. So communication process is not direct. Most of the time, communication process is what we call as, ritual. Okay? Are you still seeing the slides? Yes? Okay. Yes. So ritual perspective. It views mass communication as the representation of shared belief where reality is produced, maintained, repaired and transformed. You know what's ritual? It's a process, okay? Hold on, yeah. Okay, sorry, okay? This is, again, old people's problem, okay? Cannot talk so much, so loud, so long. Okay, ritual perspective. Okay, I give you another example. For example, okay, being a good Muslim. If communication is a transmissional perspective, then we are all good Muslims already. Because the message is clear. Quran have given you the message, your mother give you the message, Ustad has given you the message. Okay? So then if communication process is direct, then the message would be clear. We will all follow the Quran. Okay? But unfortunately, the way we practice our religion is not directly based on what we learn from the Quran, right? How do we practice our religion? Why is it that the Muslims in the Arab world or the Muslims in Indonesia have some differences with the Muslims in Malaysia? Because we learn via our experience. Okay? You can read the Quran, your ustaz teach you about the Quran in school. They tell you to pray 5 times a day. But for example, if your parents don't pray, okay, or you have siblings and friends that don't pray, you don't really get the understanding. Can you follow what I'm saying? Hold on, yeah. I need to cough, sorry. Okay. Can you understand or not the differences between transmissional and ritual? Right, okay. Like I mentioned just now, right, how we learn about Islam and how we practice Islam is 2 different things, right? What we learn could be transmissional. You read the Quran says pray 5 times a day, and then you pray. But message that comes to us usually is not this straightforward. To pray 5 times a day is not really about learning from the Quran. It's also from your life experience, okay? Looking at your parents, looking at your friends, okay? How your culture is. Can you follow what I'm saying? The difference, right? Transmissional and ritual. You must understand these differences because it affects how you understand critical and cultural theory. Okay? So an example of a critical theory is a political economy theory. Okay? So political economy also questions the status quo. Okay? Just like critical theory. But it focuses specifically on the elite control of economic and political institutions. Can you understand this? All right? So those people who adopt this theory, they specifically want to study how the elites, okay, control the economics through social institutions such as the mass media. Okay? For example, okay, when we take, say we want to look at the American control, how the Americans control the media system. Okay, we will look at the media ownership. Okay, who owns Netflix, for example? Okay, who owns all the online systems, Google, Facebook? Okay, you cannot deny who owns them, the Americans. Can you get what I'm saying or not? Okay, so those who take these perspectives, they will study specifically via the economic and political institutions. Okay, so the strength of this theory is that it focuses on how media are structured and controlled. Okay, so they can count. Okay, if you study, you will notice, you know that actually when we talk about global media, especially American mass media industries, okay, you can see that they produce thousands of films, They produce thousands of music, okay, and media product. But actually, all of these products only come from 5 companies. Okay, so it means these 5 companies are controlling everything that you are watching and listening to. Okay, I give you an example of Disney. You know Walt Disney? All right, the Disney Corporation. To some, Disney only produces the princesses and cartoons. But actually, Disney is a big conglomerate. It is a global organization. Okay, that probably Disney is even more powerful than the American government. Some would claim as that. Why would the political economists claim that Disney is more powerful than the American government? Because Disney controls most of the things that you watch and what you listen to. Okay? You know how big Disney is? Disney owns, what companies do Disney owns? Who knows? Of course, they own Disney, all the princess, all the cartoons. You imagine growing up, the TV channels that you watch, right? Disney, Disney HD, Disney Channel, okay, and then for the younger kids. Okay, and then all the movies that you watch, because Disney also owns Marvel.
Marvel, yeah.
You know how big Marvel is? Okay, so all those superhero films that you watch, okay, are actually produced not by Marvel alone. It's actually produced by Disney. And who else do Disney own? Pixar.
Lucasfilm, Star Wars.
If you like to watch movies, you would know Pixar produces all those 3D animations.
They own also ESPN, ABC News.
Yes, they own ESPN, they own ABC, okay, they own Fox, they own not Netflix, sorry, they own Hulu, okay, and then they own, like I said, Marvel, and then they also own Lucasfilms. You know Lucasfilms, what they produce? The Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
Okay, glad to know because you guys are the Avenger generation. Alright? Oh yeah, the old soul would like Star Wars. Okay? But point is, okay, imagine, okay, the end year, usually at the end of the year, they have all these blockbusters film coming out, right? But probably not this year. But the tradition is in December, end of the year, they come up with the blockbuster. So you have all these Marvel films coming out. And then you have the Disney princess coming out. And then you have Star Wars. And all of these films will be successful. And all these films will dominate the global blockbuster. Global box office. So actually what is happening is all of these, okay, the top 10 films that make the box office at the end of the year comes from the same company. Okay, so what is the implication? There's no competition. And what is happening is monopoly. Can you understand what I'm saying or not?
Yes, madam. Yes.
This means, okay, if you take this theory, if you do the research, somebody did research, somebody found out, you know, that Disney is too powerful. How can it not be powerful? Because it dictates what everybody watch and what you have been watching since you were small. Can you understand? Okay. So they criticize the status quo by studying political and economic institutions. And we're only talking about Disney. We're not even talking about Google, for example. Okay? What does Google own? You. Google owns you. Isn't it? Right? No? Okay?
Yes.
So Google owns so many. Yes. Okay? So Google owns so many companies. Give an example of a company that Google owns. Which company Google owns?
What,
Samsung. No, not Samsung. Android. Android.
Yes, Google owns Android. Okay? You know Android that powers your phone. So in this world, it's either Mac, iOS, or Android. Both are American companies. So you can see, oh, I don't like Mac. You say you don't like because you cannot buy, cannot afford. All right? So you use like Oppo ke, Samsung ke, everything, but they are mostly powered by Android. And Android is owned by Google. So how can you say that the Americans, especially through their companies, okay, and economic institutions, are not controlling the world? Can you get what I'm saying? Okay, and Google also owns YouTube. Okay, you know YouTube, right?
Yes.
Now, the number one search engine in the world is Google. Okay, we are all Googlers, right? Google for everything. But when I ask you to do assignment or search for things, nowadays people don't Google for it. You go straight to YouTube, isn't it? Is it easier to search on YouTube? Why read when you just have to watch? Okay, when you want to cook recipe, okay, why read the recipe when you can see someone doing it? Okay, so actually now when we talk about search engines, okay, Google is the number one search engine in the world, and the second is not Bing. Okay, Bing is there by accident, always by accident. Don't know why. Right? Okay. Sometimes you need to Google what is Bing. Yeah. The second most popular is YouTube.
YouTube, yes.
Isn't it, right? You search Google and then you go video. Video is much simpler and easier. Now, the number one search engine, the number two search engines coming from the same company. So there's no competition. Yeah? So this is the problem. Can you understand political economy? So I discussed with you examples of media companies. But if we were to talk about it within a bigger perspective, if we talk about the banking system, okay, then we see that yes, okay, we cannot deny, okay, that there is some kind of status quo when it comes to political economy, okay. And why is it that the critical theorists find this a problem? The problem is because when there is the status quo, they will always try to manipulate the power. And for those who are not the status quo, like us, we will be at loss. Okay, we will have to be compromising something. Can you follow so far? Okay, so this is the idea of political economy. So those who wants to do this kind of study, they will ask for action. They would ask for, okay, there needs to be more ways to control the American companies, for example. Okay, can you follow what I'm saying so far? All right. So if we see the strength and weaknesses, okay, it's just the same as critical theory, not same, similar to critical theory, because they espouse the same thing, right? They focus on media structures, okay, and then they try to make they try to link between big relationships and institutions. Okay, so far can understand. All right. But the weaknesses, okay, the weaknesses of most critical theory is that it has little power at the microscopic level. What do we mean by micro? Among individuals. Okay, like we've already talked about just now, okay, Netflix problematic, American power, okay, but what about those people, okay, who uses YouTube, okay, and become good Muslims, okay, or those people who benefit from YouTube, okay, and can help their society or their community. So you can't say that it's all bad with regard to the role of media and the status quo. Can you understand? So this kind of theory, political economy, critical theory, they don't really focus on the microscopic or individual level. Okay? So that's why it is not concerned with audience reception or how the audiences use the media. All right. Next. Okay? Marxist theory. Okay, actually, Marxist theory is the original theory. Okay, what do we mean by the original theory? Okay, this is the theory that was established by Karl Marx. Okay, so Marxist as a theory is not really just under the study of social science. Okay, it is more of a bigger systemic theory. Okay, so the idea of critical theory, political economy theory, and basically all of this critical cultural theory originate from Marxist ideas. Okay, see, because Karl Marx, as you know, he is the father of communism, socialism. So he is against capitalism. All right. So he finds problem with capitalism. That's why he argue against hierarchical class system. You know what we mean by hierarchical class system? Okay, you have the, what we call it, the rich,
The supremacy
the elite.
classes.
Yes, you've got the different classes, right? The upper class, the middle class, the bottom class, B40, M40, E20. Okay. So he says this is the problem with the world. We are living in different classes. And when we are living in the different classes, the top ones or the one with money and power will always control. And not only they control, they want the classes to stay as it is. They want to stay on top, and to make sure that they stay on top, the rest must stay at the bottom. Okay? So he says this is the problem, this is the root of all social problems. Everybody's problem in this world is because of the class, hierarchical class. So he wants a revolution of the proletariat. So who's the proletariat? The non-status quo, the everyday people, the middle class mostly. Okay? So this theory, all right? Now, when we do media studies or media research, okay, usually we will use political economy and critical theory. We don't use Marxist theory, okay? Because this is actually trying to explain the origins, okay? But it doesn't mean that you cannot use it. It's just that it's very, what we call it, rigid, okay? Because it talks about revolution. That means when you do the study and you use Marxist theory, you want revolution. You want the government to censor or close off Netflix tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? All right? So this Marxist theory says, okay, how does the class, especially the elites or the bourgeois, some people call it, all right? How do they control? Because they have control over base of the society. Basically, the society's physical infrastructures, okay? With regard to production and regard to everyday life. For example, they own the factories, they own the buildings, they own the houses. Okay? And when they own all these structures, they also own superstructures, which is the society's culture. They dictate, okay, the rich. Here, when we talk about class system, then yes, I can say that the status quo is the rich. Okay? So the rich control the culture. And then they create the ideology. What is the difference here? Okay, culture, okay, the rich will basically create the culture in this world. What do we mean? For example, I give you an example, is the culture of how we define success. Okay, how do we define success? We've already discussed big house, big car. Okay, to keep the big wives. Okay. So that is a culture, but whose culture is? That is the rich people's culture. Rich people can say, yes, that's my success because I have big car, big house. But because it is the status quo, then it is being accepted. That means the definition of success is being accepted by everybody, the rich, the poor. Can you get what I'm saying or not? Okay, because they own the culture. And because that culture is the elites, it has become the ideology. Then the poor people will also think, oh, we're so poor. Okay, we're so unfortunate because we cannot have big cars and big house. And for us to be successful, we have to work really hard to get that big cars and big house. Can you get what I'm saying or not? Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you. Okay, I'm just talking about the what we call it, the effect of the hierarchical class system through Marxist theory. Okay, because the Marxist theory says the rich, they control especially via base, superstructure, and ideology. Okay, can follow or not so far? Okay, so this is why in the video, okay, I give you the example of Black Lives Matters today, right? The issue of Black Lives Matters, because it is an issue of status quo. Okay, so what is the status quo in the US? The status quo is the white men.
White supremacy.
Mostly white men before white women. Okay, so okay, why do the white people own the base? Yes, the government is white, the rich people are white, the media is controlled by white people. So the culture in the US is actually, the status quo is the culture of the white people. Can you understand what we mean by the culture of the white people? Okay, the way they speak. Okay, so if you don't follow or if you don't adopt that culture, you are somewhat considered as not accepted. For example, okay, when you look at black music, okay, they show you it's gangsta music. Okay, that the black are in, for example, in all of those criminal activities. Is it true or not, right? So then in that culture, if you wear, okay, according to the white status quo, if you have long braided hair, if you are black, okay, if you speak a certain way, you are criminal-like. And this is the culture of the white. But because that culture has become the status quo, it has been accepted as an ideology. When it becomes an ideology, it's not only the white thinks that way, everybody thinks that way, that even probably the blacks think of themselves that way. Can you understand what I'm saying or not? How can the black think being black is problematic? Yes, they would say, oh, to be successful, they cannot have long braided hair. They must have short hair, dress like the white person, and go to Ivy League universities. Can you follow what I'm saying or not? Okay, so at the end of the day, everybody will follow the culture of the status quo. Can you understand what I'm saying or not? Okay. And you cannot deny, do you have that biasness as well? All around the world, okay? Many people will claim that they're not biased. Okay? But we all have that. Okay? Whether intentionally or not intentionally, okay? If you have this biasness, okay, it does not mean that you are a bad person. It means that you did not know, that you did not learn. Okay? Could also be probably a bit ignorant. Okay? When we walk around, okay, or when you are being asked to choose, okay, you know, sometimes in a criminal lineup, the police will catch all the criminals, and you've got the black man and the white man. Who would you choose? Okay? Who would you choose? Okay? Now, probably you say the white man. But research has been done, and many times it has been proven that everyone, not just the white person, everybody will choose the black man. Why? Because this is the images that we have seen in the media, isn't it? Right? When we talk about, okay, the news that we watch, the movies that we watch, the black man is always secondary. They're never the hero. He's always, okay, the most also he's Black Panther. He's not Iron Man, not Captain America. Can you get what I'm saying or not? Okay, so this is how we maintain the status quo, and then we also accept. Okay, yeah, Wakanda forever. Okay? And I asked my class, yesterday's class, for example, okay? Now imagine, all right, you come to class and suddenly a white, blue-eyed lecturer is waiting for you. Wow, you are so proud, right? Ooh, like studying in the UK. And then you will pay more attention, isn't it? Right? Compare a black, white, okay, good looking lah, okay? Good looking white lecturer speaking with a UK or an American accent. Okay? Compared to a Malay makcik lecturer. There will be different evaluations. All right? Different interpretation. I'm definitely sure you would, at the start, would think that the white male lecturer is smarter. Can you follow what I'm saying? You would say, no, madam. Okay? No. Yes. But if you take a transmissional perspective, yes. But probably after you've gone through the class with that guy for a month, and you realize, alamak, boring lah this guy. Okay, cannot make jokes. Okay, so then you say, oh, probably through your experience, it doesn't mean that being white with blue eyes is being smarter. Can you get what I'm saying? And then if you experience that, then that is what we mean by ritual perspectives. Okay? So far can follow? So you can have critical theory, okay, transmissional values, but later on we'll see, okay, critical theory can be quite rigid. So we adopt critical cultural. Okay. Here follow? Can follow? Can you understand base, superstructure, ideology?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So, but according to Marxists, to change this this situation, just like the Black Lives Matter, all right, there must be a revolution. So I don't know whether it's a revolution going on in the US. Revolution means what? Abrupt change. You must force the government to change. Yeah? But revolution can be quite dangerous and risky. Yeah? So they're very hardcore, Marxist theory. But although they're hardcore, they're quite extreme, you cannot deny that there are truth in their arguments. Can understand so far? All right? Can understand? Cannot?
Yes.
Yeah? You need a blonde lecturer to explain? No?
Oh.
No, okay.
Back to the
Okay, now like I said just now, right? Marxist theory, critical theory, quite hardcore. Okay, they're very critical. So then that's why we move towards a softer approach, which is the critical cultural theory. Okay, so critical cultural theory is probably the second child. Okay, so they don't adopt the parents' values as much. Is it true? Second child, middle child syndrome. Okay, so here, this is where it's important for you to understand the ritual perspectives. Okay, so critical cultural theory also espouses a certain values. They are still critical of the status quo, but they're not really hardcore because they say that the influence is not really via base or via political economy, but the influence comes through culture. So what is culture? Culture is probably always used but not properly understood because there's no one definition for culture. Lifestyle is culture, habit is culture. Okay, things that you adopt and you practice can be culture. Okay, so this group of theorists, okay, like I said, okay, who are these people? Theories, okay, is a reflection of the theorists, the people who come up with the theory. Okay, critical Marxists, those theories came from the communists. That's why it's very, what we call it, extreme and hardcore, and it's very against capitalism. But you have these critical cultural theories. They are mostly German, what we call it, German theorists, okay? they experience being under German rule, but they also experience living in America, so they found a middle path to explain, okay, the problem with the status quo. So instead of just focusing, they say, okay, they tell Karl Marx, especially during this time, communism is going to lose. Why is it communism is going to lose? Because your idea of what we call it base structure, or your idea of political economy is too straightforward. That the Americans, the capitalists, are able to control the world mostly not because of economy, but because of culture. Okay? So cultural studies or critical culture focus on how media create forms of culture that structure everyday life. Do media influence your everyday life? Definitely.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
How do they influence you? Okay, you don't feel influenced or you are not affected with the idea, Disney is owned by the Americans, or for example, Netflix is owned by this company. That is not issue to you, right? Because you are more affected with the content that you get. Okay, so culture is where the real power is. This is the argument of the critical cultural theories. Can you understand? Okay, in what sense? Okay, have you seen a photo of your grandmother or grandfather, or maybe great-grandmother, great-grandfather? Okay, they probably were wearing bell bottoms.
Yes.
They were probably what else? Okay, having
The
Elvis.
hair.
Okay,
The hair.
now they were just getting, okay, for example, in the Malaysian case, okay, in the 50s and 60s. Okay, they just gained their independence from the white people, from the British. Okay, so how did they gain their independence? With revolution. Okay, that means they fought back. Okay, but within a couple of years, okay, it's so easy for them to accept how the Americans dress, how the Americans speak. Can you get what I'm saying or not? Because right after the Second World War, okay, what became the main influence to the world was American media. Can you understand? Right? So through American media, they bring with them a lot of American culture. And that was what happened to your grandparents, who initially were angry to be under the control of the British, okay, but then became very happy to dress like the Americans. Can you get what I'm trying to say? Okay, because this, okay, why are it so easily accepted? Okay, because culture is ordinary. This is we will discuss later. Okay, don't worry. Okay, we will stop until here. Okay, so I give another example. Okay, I always give this example. Okay, if the American what we call it, soldier, okay, comes here, okay, and puts a gun to your head and force, okay, all of you, okay, to dress like them, to dress like a white man, okay, or they are put the, for example, okay, they force the Muslim girls to dress and to be like the white girls, probably. Because it's by force, just like the idea of colonialism, okay, and imperialism, we would probably retaliate because we don't like to be forced. Okay, because we love our culture, our tradition. But today, okay, I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about myself as well, all of us, okay. Why is it so easy for us, okay, to adopt the American and Western culture? Okay, like what? The way we dress, okay, the designer clothes that we wear. Okay, I don't wear designer clothes, okay, only gamon, right? Or for example, I always give the example coffee. Okay, why is it that we choose to pay a lot of money for imported coffee? Okay, and then we compromise our own coffee. Okay, some say, oh madam, the taste is different. Okay, the taste is different, the quality is different.
Madam, to
Yes,
look rich.
to look rich because we assert their value. Okay, the Starbucks cup, coffee cup and the coffee plastic ikat tepi have two different values. Isn't it? Right? So how come this one have better value, higher value? Right then? Okay? Because there is these values that is imposed together with the coffee. Okay? And this value is hegemonic. Okay? What do we mean by hegemonic? Okay? We always argue, it's okay lah, madam, it's just coffee. Okay? You don't have to make issue about everything. Okay? It's my money, I want to buy the coffee. I feel better when I drink the coffee. Okay? But, okay, if I am taking this critical and cultural approach, I say that's the problem. You don't see the problem. Okay? The problem is when you drink that coffee, it is hegemony. What is hegemony? Hegemony is the acceptance of control and power, happily accept.
Establishing the status quo, right?
Yes, because when you drink that coffee, when you continue to pay 20 ringgit for that cup of coffee, Gamon, you're sending the money to the US or companies, the US institutions. You're supporting the American status quo. Okay, Gamon only. Okay, how about Zahid, Zul, Azrin, Aina, Islami? You all drink Starbucks, right? Okay, and you
No.
proud when you drink and holding the cup.
Coffee bean.
Okay, most people want to do collection some more, right? Of the marks. What mark is that, Zahid? Is that kopi kapal api mark? Alright.
Harry Potter.
Right there?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, then the example, right? Harry Potter, not Cicak Man or whatsoever. Okay? So here, why is it a problem? Because there's hegemony. Hegemony means what? Okay, you happily support the American government, you happily support the American economy, you happily contribute, okay, and then you sacrifice. On the other hand, when you support that, you compromise. Okay, and this is done not by force. Okay, not by structure, superstructure, mostly it is done through culture. Can you follow what I'm saying? Culture here, because it's every day. Everyone else is drinking coffee bucks pula, Starbucks. Okay, everybody is hanging out in Starbucks. Everybody is eating cakes. Okay, they're sitting down drinking brewed coffee and cakes, not goreng pisang. Where do you eat goreng pisang? Tepi jalan. Right, you eat goreng pisang tepi jalan, that's where they sell goreng pisang, and that's the value of goreng pisang over some cakes. Can you get what I'm saying or not? So you put the status quo. Cakes have better value than goreng pisang. Brewed imported coffee has better value than local black coffee. What will happen with that? The maintenance of status quo. Okay, so this is what we mean by hegemony. Can understand so far? All right. So this is why, okay, those critical cultural theorists in the 60s, they already told the communists, you will not win. Capitalism will win because capitalism comes through culture. That your grandparents were happily singing to Beatles, to Elvis. Okay, communism boring, right? Everybody has to wear grey. Even your grandparents would choose, okay, a better looking culture. Okay, but of course the critics, okay, Marxist critical theory would argue, you think that you are happy. Okay, you think that you are happy with all these things that capitalism offers you, but actually you are not. For example, you are just maintaining the status quo. Can you follow so far? All right. So political economy theories I've already discussed just now. It relates because hegemony comes also from politics and economy. Okay, and then usually critical cultural theories would use qualitative methods. Okay, usually when we talk about post-positivism, it is quantitative because they want to be scientific. Everything must be measured specifically. Okay, must be very detailed. But when we want to talk about culture, it's really hard to measure. Okay, how much is, for example, how much is Gamon being influenced by American culture? I cannot measure. Okay, I cannot measure through the pants he wears. I can only qualify. Okay, just qualify. Look at what he drinks. Look at what he eats. Generally, can you understand? All right. So now, okay, after I do the research, oh yes, okay, Gamon is very influenced. No longer can we call him Gamon. We gotta call him Game On. Okay, Game On. All right. Okay. So this is what we mean, all right, by critical cultural theories, and what we mean by it is less scientific because it talks about big relationship but providing very little scientific evidence. Okay? So far, all right?
Yes.
Okay. So don't worry, I'm just going to stop here last, okay? Because this is a transition from critical, cultural. Next week we discuss cultural theories. So those who believe, okay, that the influence comes through culture, okay, they are what we call neo-Marxist. Can you understand? Just now it's Marxist, right? Now neo-Marxist, neo-Marxism. Okay, neo means new or a developed one, an evolved idea of Marxism. So the idea of critical cultural hegemony comes, okay, mostly from these two guys, okay, these neo-Marxist scholars at the University of Frankfurt in Germany. Their name is Max Horkheimer and Theodor Adorno. Okay, because they are the ones who say that the power relations, that's the status quo, is mostly, okay, established via culture more than political economy. And they do say this, okay, that because the Americans are creating what we call as cultural industries. They're not really just selling products, they're selling cultures. So mass media, in turn, that turn high culture and folk culture into commodities sold for profit. Okay, what do we mean? Okay, they sell culture to sell our ideas to be rich just now. Okay, they sell the idea to be rich, big house. Or for girls, okay, rich means what? Branded handbag. Okay, so branded handbag. Okay, nowadays the girls no money, so they wear the 10 ringgit canvas bag. They bought at Kaisot. Okay, but once they go to work or they upgrade. They will use what kind of bag? Upgrade pakai, I don't know. What brand, Aina? You know a lot of brands. They upgrade into what?
Gucci bag.
Huh?
No, I don't
No, no.
Bata.
Bata. Okay.
Chanel.
And then after that, they marry rich man. And then they upgrade to Chanel handbag. Okay. So, why is it we put value on the handbag? Okay. You can use a 10 ringgit, okay, Chanel handbag or a 10,000 Chanel handbag. All right. They both have the same function. Okay. But why do we compete, okay, to buy the branded handbag? Because we put value. And the value is what? Buying that 10,000 ringgit handbag, there is a capitalist value. That you value everything with monetary and fiscal things. Can you understand what I'm saying? Okay? So this neo-Marxists say everything that the Americans sell, Okay. Of course, all right. For this topic, I'm blaming America for everything in this world because I'm talking about critical theories. So the critical theories, the original idea is Marxist. That's why everything is anti-America. Okay. But you must understand, okay, the idea is really about status quo, challenging any status quo. Okay. So just take it that when I talk about all these American examples, it's just examples, all right, in relation to these theories, okay? So going back to this, okay, so whatever products that the Americans sell, they mostly sell more about the cultural values rather than the product itself. Can you so far understand? Okay, so neo-Marxism talks about critical cultural. That means instead of being really hardcore, talking only about economy, about political power, they say that the power, the influence really comes through culture. Culture means what? Your everyday life. Okay? You get what I'm saying? Everyday life. Okay, so your culture industries. So that's why everything is all in the packaging, isn't it? All right? You want to wear Nike because you just want to do it. Just do it, come on. Game on. All right? Just do it. So it comes to become your culture also nowadays. Think less. Just do it. Okay? And then they say what? Because you're worth it. Who says because you're worth it? You know which product? Don't know. L'Oreal. L'Oreal makeup. Okay, that's their tagline. Because you're worth it. Okay, because I'm worth it or something like that. But to be sorry, what is it, Sarah? Christina?
Yeah, that's the tagline for L'Oreal.
Right. Okay, I don't know because you're worth it. Because I'm worth it.
Because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. Okay, but to be worthy, you've got to wear that lipstick. Okay? All right. Okay. I don't know. I like this theory because it takes a stand. All right. But I don't know about you, whether I've made you really boring or what. Okay. But I think it's very important, the things that we learn today. Okay. It's not really trying to make you angry. Okay. Or it's not really trying to make you criticize everything. Okay. It's really to make you understand the world that you live in, that is not as simple as you'd like it to be. Okay? So this is the difference of someone who's taken a theory class and not taking a theory class. That this is the way to apply theory. Because most people say theories are theories, boring, cannot apply. They don't apply because they don't understand. How do you apply critical and cultural theory in your everyday life? Is that you are able to think about, okay, the things that you buy, the things that you like. You understand what I'm saying? All right? Okay, I hope you do. Because if you don't understand, too bad for you, for exam especially. Okay, we stop here. Any question? Yeah?
No, madam.
No, madam. Okay? All right, no questions. Very good. So by the next class, I guess the guys will be coming in with their copia and their traditional clothes, sir. No more American influence. Okay? All right.
All right, madam. Sure.
All right. Yalah tu. Okay? Okay? If there's no question, that is it. Okay? I end the class today with Tasbih, Kafara, and Wal'as. Okay?
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank you,
your
everyone.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, madam. Take care.
Thank you, madam.
Bye, madam.
What is Gaman doing?
Game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. Dah. Madam dah keluar.
Tak ada.
Madam dah keluar
Gosip.
Gosip Tak boleh ada submission lah.
Tu record lah weh.
Oh my
Ha?
god. Madam dia tak unrecord ke?
Tak lah.
Nanti dah keluar baru dia tutup lah.
Tak lah, madam dah keluar lah. Kan?
Kalau madam dah keluar, lepas tu dia dah habis record lah.
Tu record lagi.
Baik kita je lah.
Ayo.
Baru nak start.
Bila termasuk record madam.
Boleh lah.
Okay, jom.
Invite
Bye,
balik.
guys. Bye, Gams.
Bye.
Bye.
Ya.
See you guys around.
Sama mana?
Lazim. Dekat je.
Sama mana?
Ya, Ramah.
Alah, dia dah caw. Bye.
Bye kak.